Spassky plays pawn to d4. Fischer replies with knight to f6. Spassky plays pawn to c4. Fischer responds with pawn to e6. Spassky develops knight to f3. Fischer pushes pawn to c5. This signals the Benoni defense. Fischer wants imbalance and counterplay. Spassky advances pawn to d5. Fischer captures with pawn takes d5. Spassky recaptures with pawn takes d5. Fischer reinforces with pawn to d6. He builds a solid base for future attacks. Spassky develops knight to c3. Fischer plays pawn to g6. He prepares to fianchetto his bishop. Spassky develops knight to d2. He keeps flexibility and supports e4. Fischer brings out knight to d7. Spassky pushes pawn to e4. He claims full central control. Fischer fianchettos bishop to g7. Both sides castle kingside. Fischer plays rook to e8. He prepares for central tension. Spassky moves queen to c2. Fischer jumps knight to h5. He targets the bishop and opens the h-file. Spassky captures with bishop takes h5. Fischer recaptures with pawn takes h5. Now the kingside is exposed. Spassky develops knight to c4. Fischer centralizes knight to e5. He increases pressure on d3 and f3. Spassky repositions knight to e3. Fischer plays queen to h4. He threatens tactics on the kingside. Spassky develops bishop to d2. Fischer jumps knight to g4. He intensifies pressure and eyes sacrifices. Spassky captures with knight takes g4. Fischer recaptures with pawn takes g4. The h-file is now fully open. Spassky plays bishop to f4. Fischer responds with queen to f6. He centralizes and supports the kingside. Spassky pushes pawn to g3. Fischer develops bishop to d7. He connects rooks and prepares queenside play. Spassky plays pawn to a4. He seeks counterplay on the queenside. Fischer replies with pawn to b6. He stabilizes and prepares expansion. Spassky plays rook to e1. Fischer pushes pawn to a6. He prepares b5 and space gain. Spassky plays rook to e2. Fischer advances pawn to b5. Now the queenside is active. Spassky doubles rooks. Fischer plays queen to g6. He keeps pressure on both flanks. Spassky pushes pawn to b3. Fischer plays rook to e7. He prepares to double rooks. Spassky centralizes queen to d3. Fischer shifts rook to b8. He eyes the b-file and queenside targets. Spassky captures with pawn takes a6. Fischer recaptures. Spassky pushes pawn to b4. Fischer locks with pawn to c4. Spassky plays queen to d2. Fischer plays rook to e8. Spassky plays rook to e3. Fischer pushes pawn to h5. He activates his kingside majority. Spassky repositions rook. Fischer moves king to h7. Spassky moves king to g1. Fischer mirrors with king to g8. He waits for the right moment. Fischer captures bishop on c3. Spassky recaptures with queen. Fischer sacrifices rook on e4. Spassky accepts. Fischer plays queen takes e4. Spassky exchanges rooks. Fischer recaptures with queen. Spassky plays bishop to h6. Fischer plays queen to g6. Spassky retreats bishop to c1. Fischer shifts queen to b1. Spassky moves king to f1. Fischer activates bishop to f5. Spassky moves king to e2. Fischer plays queen to e4 with check. Spassky blocks with queen to e3. Fischer plays queen to c2 with check. Spassky plays queen to d2. Fischer plays queen to b3. Spassky plays queen to d4. Fischer plays bishop to d3 with check. Spassky resigns. Fischer wins game 3. He used the Benoni defense to create imbalance, then converted with precise coordination. The sacrifice on e4 broke Spassky's structure. The final attack was clean and unstoppable. Was this Fischer's boldest strategic win? Or just flawless execution? Let me know in the comments.